The world's population of ships is always growing and always changing. 50 years ago, the watchers at coastal lookout stations hardly ever saw an oil tanker. Today they see them all the time. About 1 in 4 of all the ships that pass carry oil. This enormous increase in tonnage is the result of an ever-growing demand for oil, coupled with its adoption for new uses. Oil is the largest single commodity in international trade, for it is only found in large quantities at long distances from where it is needed. Some of the oil can be moved part of the way by pipeline, but the greater part of the world's oil must be moved by sea. On any average day, there are about 10 million tons of oil in transit, and of this amount, an appreciable proportion is transported by the 300 or more tankers that carry Anglo-Iranian's oil. The movement of this fleet around the world is organized and coordinated from here, Britannic House. All sorts of considerations have to be taken into account. The suitability of ships for particular ports and particular types of cargo, the ship's need for revictualling and new stores, the need for relieving officers and crew, the time when the ship is due for repairs and dry docking. But the primary factor governing the program of tanker movements is the demand of the refineries and distribution installations, which in turn depend on the world's consumption of oil. The planning of ship movements can never be rigid. There are too many incalculable things to be reckoned with. Conditions in foreign ports, breakdowns, weather delays, as well as sudden changes in the demand for cargoes. Here, a ship at sea must be diverted. Her cargo is needed more urgently at another refinery. The message is received by the British Bulldog as she's coming up the English Channel. Bound for Dunkirk, she must alter course and make for the Isle of Grain. This in turn will mean that the routing of some other tanker may have to be changed. The radio messages going out from Britannic House control a sort of gigantic chess game, with 300 odd ships as the pieces and the 7 seas for a board. The British Bulldog's new orders represent a comparatively unimportant move in this game, a tiny alteration to the complex pattern of the worldwide movement of oil and tankers. of the ship's changed destination quickly gets around amongst the crew. To the men off duty in the recreation room, it'll be a home port and not a foreign one. In the engine room, too, the change of destination is discussed, probably with satisfaction. As the new helmsman comes forward to relieve the man on the bridge, the ship is already changing course, her wake curving round as she goes to port. The routine of work and watches in a tanker is the same as in any other ship. And for the crew, the accommodation and general living conditions are remarkably good. Mess rooms and recreation rooms are excellent, and the crew's quarters comfortable, with plenty of room, quite unlike the cramped forecastles of the old days. It's only a few hours now to the ship's new destination, and already a berth is waiting for her. The refinery, too, has a part to play in the tanker fleet organization. A radio message from the British Bulldog announcing the time of her arrival means that tugs must be got ready to bring her in, and men stood by to tie her up. As the British Bulldog turns to come alongside, they're busy down below, checking over the auxiliary gear that soon will be providing the power to pump the cargo ashore. A cargo of over 27,000 tons of crude oil. The movement of tankers depends upon the demand of the refineries, and this grows constantly because of the world's increasing use of oil. The company's plans for the expansion of its fleet are taking shape in the shipyards. Indeed, tankers amount to more than half the new ships being built in Britain this year. The launching of these huge new tankers today is essential for the transport of tomorrow's oil.